Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back in the video today. And today, the Houston Rockets have signed Jeff Green to a 1-year, $6 million deal. As man, oh man, am I excited for this signing. Welcome back, Jeff Green, to the Houston Rockets. He played for the Rockets, and was he on the Jazz? I think he was on the Jazz, and he got released or bought out, whatever it was. And when the Rockets had Daryl Morey, the Rockets were never really, active during the trade deadline. But when what the Rockets were most active in was the buyout market. Back when the Rockets were good and they had Daryl Morey, and Jeff Green was having a really, really, really bad year with this guy was struggling bad for the Jazz before we picked him up. It was very bad. I mean, he was shooting bad. He wasn't scoring as he needed to. He was part of the rotation too. He looked very bad, and the Rockets picked him up, believed in him, and he stepped up big time for the Rockets. During the regular season when he was with the Rockets, including the 8 games in the bubble, he averaged 12 points per game with 4 rebounds per game for the Houston Rockets, and then averaged 12 points per game for the Rockets as well in the postseason. Now, that was 3 years ago, but he's still solid now, almost 37 years old. He, this season with the Nuggets, averaged 8 points per game and 3 rebounds per game on, less minutes, a lot of less minutes for him. He averaged 4 points per game this season. With this playoff, during the playoffs, he averaged 4 points per game with 2 rebounds per game, and throughout the playoffs, where he did not get a lot of minutes. Well, he was in the playoff rotation every game, but he would only get around, in the area of 12 to 15 minutes, a game in the playoffs, and so he on unlimited playing time in the playoffs. Jeff Green did very solid for the Nuggets in their playoff run where they won an NBA championship. And, Mike Malone says, they don't win this championship without the veteran experience and the veteran leadership of guys like DeAndre Jordan, Jeff Green, and Ish Smith. Those guys weren't doing a lot for the floor. Those guys weren't doing a lot on the floor for the Nuggets. Jeff Green was playing, but Ish Smith and DeAndre Jordan were not. And Mike Malone praises those guys, those veteran leadership guys that were a big part of veteran leadership for the Denver Nuggets, like Jeff Green, Ish Smith, and DeAndre Jordan. Said they had you'll hear him say it multiple times that those guys were a big part of this team. And the Rockets, I know someone will probably say, we overpaid for almost 37-year-old. We paid him $6 million. Number one, we still have, after this signing, we still have in the area of $12.5 to $14 million to spend in free agency. I don't really think we'll spend it on anything good because the Rockets have really signed a lot of players. They've signed Brooks. They signed Fred VanVleet. I don't think they really have a lot of rotation spots anymore. Because right now, if you look at it for the Rockets, you got point guard Fred VanVleet, shooting guard Jalen, small forward Dylan Brooks, power forward Jabari Smith Jr., center Al Prince Good, off the bench Amen Thompson, KPJ, Cam Whitmore, Tari Eason, Jock Landale. That's your 10-man rotation. Then other guys off the bench. You have Jeff Green, and that's it. So I could see the Rockets maybe filling out some final bench pieces. I can maybe see the Rockets being interested in a guy maybe like Austin Rivers potentially, and signing him on a veteran deal. I could maybe see the Rockets filling out those final 2 roster spots with decent veterans, possibly. But this signing doesn't surprise me at all. Jeff Green is still a good player. So he's still a good player. And honestly, if you view it as this, you had to overpay him because the Nuggets were willing to re-sign him. The Nuggets could have signed him on a deal in the area of $3.5 to maybe $5 million, and you're necessarily, to be honest with you guys, he's not going to be getting a lot of minutes unless the Rockets have some injury problems. Because as of right now, he's the 11th man in the rotation, so he's not, unless there are some injury problems for the Rockets. Maybe some forwards are out. If a guy like Tari Eason, which a guy like Tari Eason. Tari Eason played every game last season. So maybe Cam Whitmore had some injury problems in Villanova. So maybe let's say he's out, or maybe Jabari. Who knows? So I think the only way Jeff Green, gets some solid minutes, are in a situation where, it's a, where it's a blowout, or some injuries are happening, or we just need his veteran leadership on the court. That's another thing for the Rockets. But yeah, it's a good signing because, you got to overpay for him because you're paying him to be off the floor more than he's going to be on. When he could, play decent minutes for the Denver Nuggets, a team that just won the NBA Finals. So you view it as that. Because Denver was willing to re-sign him. They could have re-signed him. But the Rockets gave Jeff Green a higher offer. As much as he loved winning a championship with the Denver Nuggets, why would he turn down $6 million from the Rockets? And this, I'm going to go back to something Raphael Stone said. Raphael Stone said that we're going to be adding in some veterans. We're adding in veteran experience. Like, I know you added in Fred VanVleet. He's 31 years old. Sorry, not 31. He's 29 years old. And he's been in the NBA since like 2016, 2017. Add in Dylan Brooks. He's been in the NBA since like 2017, 2018. So those are some veteran experienced guys compared to everybody else on the roster because everybody else is so young. Jock Landale, I think he's like 25, 26, something like that. You added him in. But Jeff Green's, he's different on the other end. He's been in the NBA for like 16 or 17 NBA seasons. So he has all the experience. VanVleet and Brooks and Landale, they have experience. They have more experience than everybody on this roster before Jeff Green was signed. But Jeff Green, it's on a different level. He's been in the NBA for 17 years. He's still a solid player for a almost 37-year-old, and been in the league for 17 years. I think this is his 17th season coming up, and he's still a solid player. He's a good three-point shooter. He's a good defender. He is a good veteran. He's a good leader. He's a good mentor. He's a good mentor on and off the court. And this is a great signing for the Houston Rockets. I really love this move for us. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe, if you look at the Rockets roster right now, I think they might have one or two roster spots to fill. You got off the bench, you have Amen. Okay, I forgot about Tate. So he's the 12th man. You have one roster spot to fill unless anybody else doesn't get moved because you have 12 guys on the roster right now. You have Jalen, you have Fred, Dylan, Jabari, Sengun, Amen, KPJ, Tari Eason, Cam Whitmore, Jock Landale, Jayshawn Tate, Jeff Green. So you have one roster spot to fill unless anybody else if everybody else stays. You have one, you could add in, ideal maybe the Rockets add in a couple of their free agents because there'll be more players on the roster for training camp. But I think if the Rockets are going to sign anybody else, it's going to be a veteran in free agency. But the Rockets have some money left in free agency. They have in the area of $12.5 to $14 million to spend. So with only 12 with 12 roster spots, and only only having one left to go, I think it's going to be interesting to see who the Rockets pick up with that $12.5 million when, whoever you're going to pick up is not going to play. So, it'll be interesting, though. You guys have any thoughts, Rockets fans? That's it for the video. Let me know your thoughts on the signing for the Rockets. That's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace out. Go Rockets.